It was another playoff-level performance from LeBron like we saw right before the break with that game against Denver, the game that had seeding implications, the game that we said where we talked about LeBron getting dressed a bit earlier than usual like he does in an actual playoff game. And listen, I'll remind the audience again because nobody can remember anything that didn't happen in the last 6 weeks, and LeBron didn't make the playoffs last year. In the playoffs, if LeBron's shot's falling the way it was last night, he's going to score around 40, as he did last night. If his shot's not falling, he's going to score around 30, which bodes well for the Lakers because yesterday, Jenna, was the 18th time this season LeBron has scored at least 30. The Lakers in those games are 18-0. They have not lost a single high-volume scoring game this season when LeBron's had a high-volume scoring game. But it really felt to me, Antoine, like the game was put away in the third quarter. Zion and LeBron matched each other almost point for point in the first half. In the early parts of the third quarter, when LeBron hit those consecutive three-pointers and gave the Lakers a comfortable margin, even though the Pelicans came back when LeBron went to the bench and briefly even took the lead, it felt like the Lakers were in full control from that moment forward. And if not for the just atrocious Rondo and Kuzma minutes once again, this is a 25-point blowout, but the Lakers end up winning comfortably in a game with LeBron offensively, maybe his best game of the year.
I was impressed last night with LeBron, and Nick, I talked about this all the time. It's certain games that LeBron has to play like this. I thought against the Clippers, when he plays the Clippers, you got to see this type of LeBron, where he's very aggressive, shoots 11 threes. He's very dominant on the offensive end, getting out on the break, playing with a lot of energy. And he did that last night. He was great in transition. Some of his dunks last night were incredible, so that lets you know when he's playing at that next level. I also like the fact that when he shot 11 threes, I thought anytime that he's aggressive, they're at their best. Anthony Davis was off last night, was only 6 for 21 from the field. But LeBron James, whenever he wants to put his imprint on the game, he can. I think last night he showed that. He knew Zion was coming in the building. He knew it was a lot of hype around the game. He wasn't going against Zion, but he knew it was one of those hype games. And he just, every now and then, LeBron wants to show the world, I'm still the best player in the world right now. And last night was one of those cases where he showed that. And just an unbelievable effort. I hope, and we may talk about this later in the show, I hope this is a first-round matchup. That's what it looked like last night to me. It could be a great first-round matchup with each other. But impressive performance. Anytime LeBron plays like this, I get excited because I know if he does this against the Clippers, they got a chance to win a world title. He has to be aggressive like this and play at the level where he goes back to the old LeBron. We've seen a lot of point guard LeBron this year.
But attacking, getting to the rim, I can't. Dusty, maybe you can look this up. He couldn't have had a game this season with more dunks than last night. And they were ferocious dunks. The one from the Caruso between the legs pass, where that's as high as LeBron's gotten up in a couple years. He had, I don't want to say something to prove, but he understood the gravity of the game last night.
So that's what I was going to ask you guys. What do you think is fueling LeBron right now? I mean, is it all the Kobe stuff? Is it the fact that the Lakers are on this incredible run right now? Is it the fact that he loves where his team is? We talk every year about how LeBron goes through a period where there's a little bit of a lull, and he knows what he's got to kind of build up for in the playoffs. But for whatever reason, we didn't see that much of it this year. He's playing like he's got something to prove. LeBron doesn't have to prove anything to anyone. What do you think is fueling this guy? National stage, all the spotlight, and he comes out and does what he did.
I think, obviously, it goes back to last year. I think, obviously, he was disappointed in the season. When he was able to add AD, I think he came in very focused. He's taken a very professional approach to the season. That you could tell by the amount of games he's played. You could tell the seriousness, the way he's approached every game to make sure his team gets the 1 seed. Nick, you talked about it before All-Star break, making sure they finish right. And him going to the press conference talked about how he wanted to finish the game right. And I just think right now he's very comfortable. He's healthy as he's been. Obviously, we see he can turn it on and be as athletic as he wants to be when he needs to be. So I think right now LeBron is just focused. He's got championship on his mind. And also, too, obviously, Kobe has probably gave him even an extra push to want to do this for him as well.
Well, and the Kobe Bryant tragic element of this is, to me, the aligning story now with this Lakers season. And it is impossible to imagine another player in the NBA being in the position LeBron is in, being the face of the Lakers, being the guy that has to give the speech right after Kobe's death and somehow does that pitch perfect, seemingly unscripted. And then each time there has been some part of the Kobe Bryant tragedy aligned with basketball, he has answered the bell. The day before the memorial, they're playing the hated rival Boston Celtics. You have all the luminaries in the building. He hits the game-winning jump shot. The day after the memorial, they're on national television, back at home, with the Staples Center crowd just full of emotion and excitement because of Zion, and he drops a season-high 40 points. This is a guy who was, when Zion was, LeBron was already in the league when Zion was 3 years old. When Zion was, do I have that right? Yeah, I have that right. When LeBron came into the league, Zion was 3. So for the entirety of this star who we're about to talk about, Jenna's life, LeBron has been doing this, and he's now doing it with the additional pressure of all of the city of Los Angeles kind of having what happened with Kobe sitting on them in a way unlike any other cities.
What did you make of Zion's first game against LeBron, Antoine?
I took a lot out of last night. I took a lot of positives, but I also took a couple negatives out of it. I thought he was great around the basket at times. We saw length bother him last night. He got his shot blocked probably 4 or 5 times with Anthony Davis and JaVale McGee. So he struggles against height. We see that. But his tenacity to continue to keep playing, play through plays, I think, you don't see that sometimes from a 19-year-old. If things ain't going well for him, he continues to play through it no matter what's going on the court. And I thought last night, this is the reason why he should came back. People was like, oh, well, why Zion come back? Why he should never came back? This is why you come back, to see where you're at. And to play the game that he played against the best team in the league right now, well, the second best team, record-wise.
Best team in the West.
In the West right now, a championship contender, speaks volumes. It helps build, obviously, confidence in him to where he can be at. Playing against an Anthony Davis, a JaVale McGee, 2 longer guys. So now he knows offensively what things he needs to work on to get better. Now he knows he has to really work on his jump shot, be able to make a couple of those throughout a game. Don't put so much pressure on himself. I thought the most impressive part to his game last night was getting to the free throw line 19 times.
Listen, because it's unbelievable. It's his 13th game. He goes 29-6 on the road against the best team in the West. And we're like, it wasn't as great. It wasn't a great game for him because he was 8 of 18 from the field.
Right.
But he buttressed that with 13 of 19 from the free throw line, getting 19 free throw attempts, getting out in transition, whenever it looked like the Lakers might pull away, there was a Zion-led run or a Zion burst of energy. And what he's doing, I don't know if we have time to show it. I hope we do. Because he's on a minutes restriction. So his overall, this is per 36 minutes, which is not a perfect stat, but it shows you how effective you're being on a per-minute basis. He's now above Wilt as far as points per 36 minutes in his rookie season. Joel Embiid obviously did it in very limited minutes. Wilt did it in extended minutes, playing way over 36 minutes. And he's doing it learning on the fly 13 games in. You mentioned the struggling against height. His 2 least efficient games of his young career, the one bad game he's had against Milwaukee, a great defense with a ton of length, and then a game last night, another team with a massive amount of length and a really, really good defense. Those are the minor tweaks of his game, adding a little perimeter game as he will this offseason. But 29-6-3, and it was like a B-level game from Zion Williamson. Speaks to how spectacular he is.
And then obviously we're so used to him shooting 60, 65% from the field. So when he goes 8 for 18, I would love to go 8 for 18. So, I mean, that was a good game for me, if you know what I'm saying. So I understand what people are saying, that it was a marginal game because he's so efficient around the basket, and he does such a good job, especially all season long. But last night was, I give him an A-. I just thought it was a great game. To be able to continue to get to the free throw line when things sometimes are not going your way, he continued to play through the game. The moment, only 13 games in, rising to the occasion and playing on the big stage against LeBron.
And he gets them again this weekend. This weekend they get to go part 2 of this, and maybe we'll get part 3, 4, 5, 6
hopefully
in the first round.
Right?